Two people could look at the same killing, morally disagree, and still think institutions don't get to hide. Alex Preddy, killed by federal officers in Minneapolis, the 2nd of the month. U.S. citizens and conflicting federal versus state accounts. Evidence denied access to by feds, maybe provided a little more access to certain press hubs. But it's not about protests yet. This is about process. It stopped being about Minneapolis, and right now it turned into a conversation more revolving around power. The DOJ and the U.S. attorney claim one thing, and states are claiming another thing, and the press is claiming a third thing. I mean, the DHS is investigating itself, is not allowing for state cooperation, is not even allowing for state access. Local police chief says they received nothing. And if you're already forming a strong opinion here, just pause, drop it. A lot of people know a lot of different things, but there's no consistent rhetoric or point of details. My issue with this as a regular, ordinary American who has a job, a business, and doesn't do news full time, I'm thinking, what is to serve as the check on ICE's actions? I'm thinking right now, I mean, it took, what, half a second for the federal government to say either we're not investigating this, or this person was armed and threatened our officers, so all the officers' actions were justified. And then it took another half a second for the Democrats to start saying, no, we're going to go shut down the government because we don't want to fund DHS at all, or we don't want to fund ICE at all. Democrats, you have the midterms in your pocket. You cannot come off to actually say you want to defund ICE. If you came out of it saying, hey, we're going to shut down the government because we want immigration reform, a la what we had in the last days of the Biden-Harris administration, a bipartisan deal that would have fixed our ridiculous immigration system, then wouldn't you be a lot better off? To be fair, the Democrats have the wind at their backs, losing people like Joe Rogan for the president, who are anti-ICE or anti-ICE's behavior, the way they're doing it. ICE sentiment is not exactly at an all-time high. Another point, carrying a firearm is not a death sentence, especially in the way that it was in Minneapolis. He was doing something legal. Nothing shows him brandishing a firearm at the moment of this recording. Nothing shows him brandishing a firearm, especially in a way that threatens ICE officers. Think of the Renee Good killing. Was she driving the car? Was she going to plow him? Did the officer's previous experience being dragged by a car factor into things? What I saw in that case was reasonable doubt. And yesterday, the fact that there was a firearm involved, but there's no definitive video evidence of everything that was happening, perhaps leaves doubt on both sides, like the Renee Good case. But one thing's for sure, something needs to change. Perhaps the training, perhaps the law, perhaps cooperation with other authorities, perhaps an independent investigation, perhaps maybe getting an IG. And on the flip side, now this is where politics enter, right? Democrats are threatening to block DHS funding, and leverage only exists before funding passes. The Democrats can't just shut down the government whenever they get upset. There are other things, other people, other services that rely on the government functioning. We pay them to work, to function. I think we are so fatigued as a country for another government shutdown, because the last one lasted almost 6 weeks, or maybe even more. I don't like shutdowns. I understand why they're being used for leverage. It's the best the Democrats can do right now in terms of some kind of power. But the Republicans aren't going to be in control forever. There will be oversight and subpoena power given to them in the midterms. There's no reason to shut down the government and harm the rest of the American population, because we saw what happens when the Democrats do it under a Trump administration. Think of the precedent it sets. If we don't like it, we're shutting down the government. If we don't like it, all Americans are going to suffer. And we're going to give all Americans the middle finger. Disagreement is allowed. Misguided beliefs are allowed. Public discourse is how correction happens. This is my unfiltered thoughts and reactions as to how things are unfolding over the weekend. And this is what this channel is for. This channel is for people who want to think out loud without slogans or without immediately rushing to your conservative or liberal ideologue and just parroting whatever they're saying. I write through these ideas in more detail in my newsletter, and I stream, for now, every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Make sure to subscribe to my newsletter. Link below. You don't have to agree with me. As an American, you have to demand accountability. Disagree respectfully, think independently, and I'll see you in the comments. Feel free to respond to any one of my newsletters. I love, read, and cherish every one of those that come my way. See you guys in the next one.